Do you have unlimited time? I don't, and I haven't met many people that have either. Do you have unlimited money? I don't, and I bet you don't either. What I'm about to explain isn't about rushing things or saving yourself even a couple weeks of time and work. What we're going to talk about today could save you months, if not years, of work and save you thousands upon thousands of dollars. The main topic of today's video is going to be how to shorten the feedback loop. It sounds a little boring, but it is one of the most overlooked aspects of product design, development, etc. that the majority of product entrepreneurs overlook with their first products or even with follow-up products after that. Most of the time when you're developing a product, you're doing it in a bubble, right? You're talking to other designers, you're talking to your factory partner, and maybe marketing experts if you're ahead of the average. And that's great. But who is the one trading their cheddar for your product at the end of the day? Your target market, right? You have to make sure that your target market actually wants what you're trying to sell. Are you really willing to invest 40, 50, 100, maybe even 500K into a project without getting a substantial amount of feedback from the people that will actually hopefully be buying your product and using your product? The answer better be no. But you'd be surprised with how often people do just that. There are two major flaws that I see people repeating over and over and over again when they're making their products. Number one is committing to a manufacturing partner before they've proved anything. Number two is committing to your product without knowing if you have a proper market fit. Now, thankfully, I've got the answer for both just for you. Buckle in. Problem number one, how do you tackle not being too committed to a manufacturing partner early on? I think the most important thing to take out of this is a line that we have up in the office over there that I repeat almost daily. Start small, scale aggressively, right? Too often people will get attached to their manufacturing partner by putting a down payment down for an order or paying for all of the tooling without seeing a final sample, right? People get roped in with, don't worry, we'll fix it in production. While sometimes that line is justifiable, more often than not, it's an excuse to make you part ways with your money. How to avoid that is by sampling at the beginning with multiple partners. By sampling with multiple people from the get-go, you're allowing yourself to widen your net of possibilities of success, right? Finding people that can do that very first step of sampling your product and see how it goes, right? See what you can do with this partner to make a great sample. How's their communication? It's not going to get better. If anything, it's going to get worse, right? You haven't paid them yet. They're trying, it's like a first date. They're trying to impress you. I think this goes for all things business. The beginning of the relationship is a pretty good indicator of how your business partnership with any company will go in the future. So if people aren't showing up on time, if people aren't making a quality sample and involving you in the process in the way you expect it to be involved early on, then you can cut ties. The follow-up question is, how does that save me money to sample with more people? So to me, sampling with more people saves me time because I don't have to start from scratch, do the sample, have a time, bad product, bad result, start again. Same thing happens 2 or 3 times. It's a year later. Now, is it going to cost more to part ways with the sampling or prototyping fees of all of your factories from the beginning? Yes, of course it is. But you're going to save each one of those feedback loops, right? You're going to do them all at once. You're going to find the perfect partner because you've taken more chances, and then you're going to be ready to move forward on your first try. You got to spend money to make money is something I definitely believe in. And in this case, spending a little bit more to sample with a few options will save you a lot of time, money, and headaches down the road. When we prototype products for our own products or for our customers' products, we do that every time. And we have a trusted supply chain with hundreds of factories that we've worked with for years. And we still do that. We want to see who's the best fit for any of our products. So we give multiple people a chance. By doing that, like I said, you increase the odds, and odds are everything. Second, we live in a day and age where we no longer rely on putting up our company's brand on a billboard and hope that that entices people to buy it. Now, a lot of that marketing is still done, but more and more marketing is objective. If I spend X amount of dollars, what is my customer cost of acquisition going to be, right? We can plug numbers into formulas and find out what people are going to pay for a product, how many people are going to want that product. That's obviously a very separate art. But by doing that in the early days with a prototype, you can find a lot of information out, right? What's your click-through rate going to be? Are people clicking your ad? Are people going to be willing to buy your product? Are they getting to the shopping cart part of your website, right? There's a lot of different data that can be collected with just a prototype. Spending $100,000 on development and molds and tooling to get to the point where you can finally sell your mass production products, it's very expensive and it takes a lot of time. If you cut that process down into making a looks like, feels like, works like prototype that you can then use to pre-sell, right? Whether that be through your own website or through crowdfunding platforms, you can find out what the demand for your product is in the market before committing a lot of capital and time to this venture. You'll also get a ton of unexpected and crucial feedback from actual potential buyers of your product, right? If you launch a prototype and say, hey, what do you guys think about this? How would you change this? You might get feedback that you can then exercise and make changes to your product. Whereas if you had fully committed to your product in advance, you wouldn't have that luxury. Doing that prior to the commitment of pulling the trigger on a massive purchase order is a huge step up and something that everybody should be doing. There are a million little details that are hard to nail down perfectly when you're in a bubble during product development. The main two problems being getting locked into factories that haven't proven themselves, and number two, trying to sell a product that you're not even sure if anybody wants. Oftentimes, a product needs some fresh air and to be exposed to real-world customers. It isn't cheap to create a bunch of prototypes. It isn't cheap to work with lots of different manufacturing partners early on. But in the long run, it is almost 100% worth it. It's something that I recommend to everybody to do to make sure that you can lock down a good manufacturing partner and to make sure that your target demographic actually is going to buy this. If you do that, you're light years ahead of your competition. Good luck. Peace.